everyone, welcome to True Mysteries. I am Natalie, and today's case I'm going to be talking to you about is Antoinette Christine Cayedito. So I am here to help families, to help look for, their disappeared loved ones, try and get their faces back out there, try and get them noticed, trying to remember and think back to the times of the day, the times when this disappearance had happened, to see if there's anyone else who could think of things that happened on that day, maybe what they seen, what they heard, what they experienced, that could be very, very relevant to the cases that I am going to be talking to you about. So back on to Antoinette. So I'm going to be telling you more about her background, and we just dive straight in. So Antoinette Christine Cayedito was born on December the 25th, 1976. She was born in New Mexico. Her hair is brown, her eyes are brown. She is 4'7" at the time when she had disappeared. Her weight is 55 pounds at the time of her disappearance, and Antoinette actually has freckles. She has pierced ears, she has a scar on her knee, a scar also on her lip. She has moles on her back, she has them on her right cheek, her nose, left and right hands, and also on her right ankle. Antoinette is a Navajo and an Italian descendant. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing glasses. She was known to wear a silver chain with a small turquoise type of cross pendant necklace. And also, Antoinette was last seen inside of her family's residence in Gallup in New Mexico on April the 6th, 1986. She was last seen wearing a pink nightgown. The field office that is dealing with this case is in Albuquerque. Antoinette was born on December the 25th, 1976 to Penny Cayedito. Penny Cayedito was born 1952, and she had sadly passed away in 1999. And she was also of the Navajo Nation. And Anthony Montoya was born 1951 and sadly passed away 2012, which was Antoinette's father. And he was a father that was of a Italian and Hispanic descendant. After her parents had gone in separation, Antoinette and her younger sisters Wendy and Sadie were raised by their mother, and this was in Gallup in New Mexico. Antoinette was described as being very level, wise beyond her years, and very good at her scholar, and she was very good in school. She was a very dedicated, friendly, loving, caring, and dependable young girl. And this was by the time she was 6 years of age. She was cooking for her sisters. She ironed their clothes for the week and also played a vital role in caring for all of them also. She was known by her peers for her displayed concern for the well-being of others, particularly if they were very downcast or otherwise in need. Her younger sister then later described Antoinette as having a, quote, caregiver's heart. Her favourite colour was purple. She enjoyed listening to a lot of music, which was Michael Jackson and also Ronnie Milsap, and she was nicknamed Squirrel. She was a 4th grade student at Lincoln Elementary School, where she was very attentive. She was also above average student who displayed a flair of sports and physical activities, winning the Presidential Fitness Award in her 4th year of school. Outside of school, Cayedito also displayed a strong interest in her weekly Bible studies and was very devoted to religious studies and was devoted to religious faith at this time of her disappearance. She was living with her mum and her sisters at 204 Arnold Circle, which was in Gallup in NM 87301. So Antoinette had gone and disappeared from her home, which was in US Route 66 in Gallup in New Mexico, in the early morning hours of April 6, 1986. That evening of her disappearance, her mum, Penny, Antoinette's mother then, was out with her friends at a local bar, and Antoinette, along with her younger sisters, Wendy and Sadie, was with a babysitter. Penny arrived home around midnight and sent the babysitter home, and according to Wendy, there had actually been a knock on their front door, and this was around 3 a.m. in the morning. Both of the girls were still awake, and also Antoinette answered the door. When she asked who was actually at the door, the knocker had then identified himself as, quote, Uncle Joe. When she opened the door, she was grabbed by two men. She kicked and screamed, quote, "Let me go, let me go." As the men had forced her into a brown van, Wendy didn't recognize the men. She didn't get a look at their faces. But the following morning, when Penny awoke to prepare the girls for Bible school, she realized that Antoinette was actually not in her bedroom. After inquiring with her neighbours, she phoned the police. 1 year after of the disappearance, the Gallup Police Department received a frantic phone call in which a young girl claimed to be Antoinette. In the call, she said she was in Albuquerque in New Mexico. Before the girl could reveal her whereabouts, an angry adult male voice was heard shouting, quote, "Who said that you could use a phone?" followed by a girl screaming, the sounds of a scuffle, and then the phone call had then got cut off. Antoinette's mother believed it was in fact the voice of her daughter Antoinette, but did not recognize the male's voice. 4 years later, in 1991, a waitress of Nevada had then encountered a teenage girl matching Antoinette's description, who knocked a lot of utensils on the floor, seemingly to attempt to get waitress's attention. According to the waitress, the girl grabbed her hand and then squeezed it very firmly each time the waitress handed back the utensils. The girl was in company of an unkempt couple. After then, they had left the waitress, cleaned the table, and then she found a napkin that was under the plate. The girl being eaten from it contained two brief messages, quote, "Help me," and "Call the police," that was written on this napkin. Police interviewed an uncle who was married to Penny's sister, but then declined to name him as a suspect. Investigators believe that Antoinette too have been deceased, although her whereabouts is unknown as of 2021 and as of this video. Penny had died on April the 18th, 1999 from cirrhosis of the liver, and she also had some cardiac issues as well. And Anthony, which is Antoinette's father, died in August the 17th, 2012. Penny and Anthony was actually separated. There was a lot of police, neighbours and searchers that were out looking for Antoinette as well, but there was actually no leads. An elderly woman saw at 6:30 a.m. a brown van that was actually outside Antoinette's home. When the family heard about this, they did not know anyone with a brown van. The police had then questioned children and people in the general area. The police also had a tip about a potential suspect, and some of the young boys in the neighbourhood then mentioned about a specific local man, which was age 62, named Wesley Daniels, who was a paedophile, used to take his kids on picnics and then sexually assault them. He was in the same neighbourhood at the time of the abduction of Antoinette. So that is what I have and what I could find on Antoinette's case. So what I want to do is I want her face to be back out there. We need to get justice for her. We need the family to get justice for Antoinette, for wherever she is. We want her to be brought home. I want to be the voice and the face to bring all the missing people, you know, back out there, to be seen and to be heard, and to know that she is always going to be out there. You know, there's people out there searching for her, looking for her. People that lived in a neighborhood on that day, on that time when she abducted, see if they can recollect anything that happened on that day, if they witnessed anything. You know, they can always put tips in to the FBI, and also phone the police and tell them like what they had witnessed. So I want to make sure that all missing people have a voice, have a face, you know, so they can actually be brought to the light again, and just to make sure that they're not forgotten. They are always going to be remembered, and there is loads of people like myself that is going to be trying to get justice, you know, put these videos out for these missing people. They need justice, they need to be found. The families need to know where all the people that have disappeared are, especially with Antoinette. Her family needs peace. I know her parents are sadly deceased, but she also does actually have other family members, you know, and it'd be nice for them to actually know what happened to her. You know, let's try and get her face out there, you know, her name out there, and for justice to be served, and for her to actually be remembered. Okay then everyone, I am Natalie and this is True Mysteries.